At 3:12 a.m., my son smiled at the corner of the nursery, like someone he loved had just walked in. Not a sleepy twitch, not gas, not that unfocused newborn expression people call a smile to make themselves feel better about the screaming. A real smile. Wide, slow, intentional. And the corner smiled back at least. That's what it felt like. Like the air in that spot became aware of us. I remember because I checked the clock the first night it happened. I'd been living in 2-hour fragments of sleep for weeks, the kind that makes your thoughts drag like wet laundry. The green digits on the bedside alarm read 3:12, and my husband Mark's breathing beside me was heavy, unmoving. The house was quiet, in that dead way suburban houses get, when the fridge stops humming, and even the pipes seem to hold their breath. Then, from the baby monitor, I heard it. Not a cry, a soft coo. The kind you want to record and send to grandparents. The kind that makes you forget how tired you are. I sat up, drawn by that sound like a string around my ribs. The monitor's tiny screen showed the nursery in dull night vision gray. Liam was on his back in the crib, swaddled to his chest, his face turned toward the far left corner, the one where the rocking chair sat angled toward the wall, and he was smiling. I watched for maybe 10 seconds, his lips parted, and his cheeks lifted like he was seeing something wonderful. His eyes weren't unfocused, they tracked upward, like he was looking at a tall person. My stomach tightened in a way my body didn't know how to explain. I told myself it was nothing. Babies look at nothing all the time. They see shadows, they see light, they see patterns in drywall. But that first night, after a minute of smiling, his little hand lifted out of the swaddle and opened, fingers curling and uncurling, like he was reaching, like he wanted to be picked up by whatever stood in that corner. I got out of bed barefoot and padded down the hall. The house smelled faintly of formula and the lavender detergent we used on his sheets. The nursery door was cracked, light from the nightlight spilling a dim yellow line into the hallway. When I pushed it open, nothing changed. No cold rush, no sudden silence, just Liam's soft breathing and the old floorboards settling. He was still smiling. I followed his gaze to the corner. Empty, rocking chair, a small basket of blankets. The wall painted a soft blue we'd chosen because it felt calm. My pulse thudded in my ears as I crossed the room. I leaned over the crib. "Hi, buddy," I whispered. His smile vanished the second his eyes met mine. Not gradually, not like he was drifting. It was as if a switch flipped. His face went neutral, blank, then his mouth trembled. He started to cry. It was so sudden it startled me, and I scooped him up, pressing him to my chest. He quieted fast, as if the crying had only been a reaction to losing whatever he'd been seeing. His tiny fingers clutched my shirt. His head settled in the curve of my neck. Over his soft hair, I looked back at the corner, still empty. Still, I stood there, holding him, until the rocking chair creaked. It wasn't a big movement, just a faint, slow groan of wood, as if someone had shifted their weight in it. The chair rocked a fraction of an inch. I froze. I stared until my eyes burned. The chair stopped. The nursery stayed normal. Liam's breathing evened out against my collarbone, warm and real. I told myself it was the house settling. Old floorboards, old furniture. The chair wasn't even new. We'd bought it from a thrift store in town because the cushions were clean and the frame was solid oak. I held Liam until he fell asleep. Then I laid him down and forced myself to leave the room without looking at the corner again. Back in bed, Mark stirred. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I said. "Just..." He woke up. Mark mumbled something and rolled over. The alarm clock glowed. 3:29. I didn't sleep. The next night, it happened again at 3:12. And the next, always 3:12, like an appointment. By the fifth night, I stopped pretending it was random. Liam would sleep normally through the earlier wake-ups, midnight feeding, diaper change, the usual. Then, at 3:12, the monitor would catch him already awake, head turned to that same corner, his face lit by a smile that looked too old for him. Sometimes he giggled. The sound made my skin crawl, not because giggling is scary, but because it was private, like I was overhearing something I wasn't invited to. On the 7th night, I woke to the monitor without it making a sound, just an awareness, like my body had learned the pattern. The nursery camera showed Liam sitting slightly upright, supported by the bumpers, eyes fixed on the corner. His mouth was open in a silent laugh. And in the corner, where the night vision should have shown the same wall and the same chair, there was a darker patch. Not a shape, not a person, just a density, like a shadow that didn't belong to anything. My hands went cold. I blinked hard and leaned closer to the monitor. The patch remained, faintly shifting like heat haze. I didn't think. I moved. My feet hit the hallway floor, and the air felt heavier the closer I got to the nursery, like stepping into a room where someone has been smoking even if no one has. The nightlight's soft glow looked wrong somehow, too dim for the bulb we used. When I opened the nursery door, Liam's laugh cut off like I'd slapped a hand over his mouth. He turned his head toward me. His expression wasn't startled. It wasn't guilty. It was resentful, in a way I can't explain without sounding insane, like I had interrupted him. "Liam," I whispered, and my voice shook. "Baby, what are you?" He didn't cry this time. He stared over my shoulder. My body turned on its own, like a reflex. Behind me, in the doorway, the hallway was empty, but the air at my back felt watched, pressed. The rocking chair creaked again, slowly, as if someone sat down in it. I didn't look at the chair. I couldn't. Something primal held my head forward, eyes locked on Liam, because looking away felt like stepping off a cliff. I crossed the room and lifted him. His small body was warm, solid, safe. The second he touched me, he squirmed. He pushed against my chest, arching his back, straining toward the corner. He made a sound I'd never heard from him before. Not a cry, not a coo. A low, irritated grunt. My throat tightened. "No," I said automatically, like he was reaching for an outlet. "No, it's okay." He stared past me, his mouth twitching like he was fighting the urge to smile again. I turned slightly, just enough that I could see the rocking chair in my peripheral. It was moving, barely, a gentle back and forth, steady as breathing. No one was in it. And then, this is the part I've tried to make myself forget, but it won't let me. The chair's motion shifted. It rocked a little farther forward than it should have under its own momentum, like someone leaned in to watch us. I left the room with Liam clutched to me, and I didn't shut the nursery door. Something in me refused to close it, like closing it would trap him in there with whatever was waiting at 312. I sat in the living room with all the lights on, Liam on my chest, until dawn smeared pale across the windows. When Mark came down for work, he stopped in the doorway, blinking. "What happened?" I told him. "Not all of it." I tried. I said Liam kept waking up and smiling at the corner, and it freaked me out. I said the rocking chair creaked, like maybe the house was settling. Mark rubbed his eyes. "Babe, you're exhausted." "I know I'm exhausted." He looked toward the dark hallway leading to the nursery. "We can move the chair, if that helps." "It's not the chair," I said too quickly. Mark frowned. "Okay, then what?" I didn't have an answer that wouldn't make me sound like I belonged in a locked ward, so I swallowed it. That day, I moved the rocking chair out of the nursery and into the spare bedroom. I vacuumed the corner. I scrubbed the walls like there might be mold. I rearranged the crib so Liam faced a different wall. The corner stayed a corner, plain, unremarkable. That night, I watched the monitor with the stubborn determination of someone trying to win a staring contest with their own fear. At 312, Liam woke. Even with the crib turned, he twisted his head unnaturally far and fixed his eyes on the same physical corner of the room. And he smiled, not at the wall, at the empty air. In the camera's night vision, the corner had that darker density again. I felt something inside me drop away. Like hope, I went in. The second I opened the door, the density dissipated the way fog does when you shine a light through it. Liam's smile vanished, replaced by that blank, resentful look. Then, as if to punish me, he started wailing. I stumbled backward out of the nursery with him, shaking. After that, I stopped going in right away. I told myself if I didn't interrupt, maybe it would stop. Maybe whatever it was would get bored. It didn't. It grew bolder. One morning I found Liam's mobile tangled. The little felt stars twisted around each other like someone had grabbed them. Another day, his pacifier was placed on the windowsill, far from the crib. Mark said maybe the